Parish Council in Norfolk is celebrating tonight after taking on BT and winning. The people of Bramerton set up a campaign to save their traditional red phone box. However, saving a phone box can cost a lot of money, but now BT has agreed to pay the bill.
Last year, when BT announced plans to remove 63 phone boxes from across South Norfolk, many communities, including Bramerton, took up the option to keep their red box, minus the phone service, at a cost of £1. But the standing charges turned out to be much higher than they thought.
BT quoted us £17 a year as being the average cost for a phone kiosk. The latest tariff from EDF is a standing charge of 56 pence per day, which amounts to over £200 a year, and in addition there's a small extra cost for the actual electricity supplied.
Just too much for the parish council to afford. But now BT have agreed to absorb those costs. The phone box is staying, and in Bramerton they're calling it a victory for the council, the community and common sense. Amelia Reynolds, BBC Look East.
The government is promising a quick decision on whether Norfolk and Suffolk should become unitary authorities. The latest consultation on the proposals, which could see many local councils abolished, ends tomorrow. MPs from Norfolk today lobbied the local government minister, calling for an end to the uncertainty. We could soon be losing one of our lighthouses. A plan has been put forward for the 200-year-old light at Orford Ness to be turned off. The Lighthouse Authority, Trinity House, wants 6 lights to be switched off across the country. Alternatives are being looked at if the plan goes ahead. The world-famous pier in Southend is closed this week for repairs. £800,000 is being spent on the improvements, the latest since the pier was badly damaged by fire 5 years ago. The Visitor Information Centre is also closed.
Now, it's not often we get the chance to rewrite the history books, but this is one of them. When Harry Patch died last year, he was said to be the last person in Britain to have served during the First World War. But now we know he wasn't. There is one more, and she lives in King's Lynn.
Florence Green turns 109 next month. That's impressive enough, but she is now also believed to be the world's last surviving female veteran of the First World War. She served as a waitress in the Women's Royal Air Force, joining up in September 1918.
Quite easy to have breakfast and dinner and lunch and tea, that sort of thing. 4 to 3 times a day.
Until his death last year, it was thought 111-year-old Harry Patch was the last First World War veteran still living in the UK. Mrs Green's claim to the title was researched and validated by a gerontologist who read about her in a local newspaper after her last birthday. Mrs Green, then Florence Patterson, was one of thousands of women who did their bit between 1914 and 1918. She remembers her time in the RAF with great fondness.
It was very interesting to get to know different people. You learned a lot of different things. Yeah, and they were all very nice people. Yeah, I had a good time, really.
Mrs Green is surprised by all the fuss about her new title. No doubt her family, including 4 grandchildren and 7 great-grandchildren, are very proud of her indeed. Anna Todd, BBC Look East, King's Lynn.
In football, Ipswich Town left it very late to beat Coventry, who'd equalised 6 minutes into time added on. Ipswich had just enough time for one more attack. Pablo Cunyago was in the right place to give Ipswich 3 points.
The last 5 minutes was a disaster in terms of we're thinking we're 2-1 up. I wouldn't say we were coasting, but we were missing chances, and then to concede 4 minutes into injury time was a hammer blow. But then to go on and win it with the last kick of the game in the 5th, 6th minute of injury time, we're very pleased to say the least.
After all the pre-match hype, Saturday's East Anglian derby lived up to expectations, for the supporters of Norwich City at least. They beat Colchester 5-0 in front of a full house at the Western Homes Community Stadium. It means Norwich have closed the gap at the top of League One.
Revenge, the order of the day for both sides. The controversy centred on this man, Paul Lambert, who orchestrated the demolition of Norwich before decamping to Carrow Road. With the regional rivalry escalating, matchday caught the eyes of the nation.
Paul Lambert, not really a fan of him anymore.
He's a good manager.
We got a real manager now, mate. Thank you very much. Bless
Not
you.
anymore.
The budgie is going to be silenced today by the U's.
We're done with the talking. That's enough of the mind games. The atmosphere is incredible. Now to what matters, these guys and the action.
Enter Paul Lamberton. Just listen.
Inevitable reception. He seemed to relish it. Not the first 15 minutes, though. Colchester meant business, the Norwich keeper working overtime. At the other end, the Canaries were clinical.
Chris Martin! And a goal from Norwich City.
It was 2-0 before half-time, Martin with his second. Straight after the break, Gary Doherty popped up with a third. Almost game over when Grant Holt was fouled. Penalty. Wes Houlihan's 1-2 with the crossbar disallowed as an opposition player hadn't touched it. Ollie Johnson then scored his first for Norwich before Holt's 23rd of the season compounded Colchester's misery. Thoughts of the opening day washed away.
7-1 is never nice, and I'm sure if you ask your lads, it was really sweet for them to get a little bit of back for what they've done that first day of the season.
We had a lot of pressure, a lot of possession, a lot of territory, a lot of chances in the first half, but we didn't take them. Norwich had 2 shots, scored 2 goals.
Not the U's day. Clear this victory meant more to Lambert than most. His team's now eyeing the title. Tom Williams, BBC Look East, Colchester.
Southend could only manage a consolation goal, but no points at Huddersfield. Scott Spencer came off the bench to score on his Southend debut and make it 2-1. A former Everton trainee, he's joined the Shrimpers on a 6-month contract.
And tonight we start a new weekly football programme for this region. It's called Late Kick-Off, and Tom Williams has been seeing how things are going for the first programme.
It's all well and truly underway. You can see down there, real buzz of excitement here at Epic Studios in Norwich. Kevin Piper's the producer. So what's Late Kick-Off all about?
Tom, I think we want to get behind the scenes. I think we want lively, intelligent, informative debate, and we want to give the fans a voice, hopefully.
Best of luck tonight, Kevin. Let's see if we can whip downstairs and have a sneaky look at the studios behind the scenes. Couldn't be a better weekend for Late Kick-Off to be launching. Another dramatic weekend. Goals aplenty. Here's the studio door, really heavy. They don't allow anybody in here. The crew behind the scenes, a few last-minute adjustments to the knobs. Here's the presenter, Matt Holland. And on the sofa here tonight will be the former Norwich manager, Brian Gunn, and the MK Dons boss, Paul Ince. Matt, what's on the show tonight?
Where do I start? What a weekend. It was incredible. Colchester versus Norwich. Ipswich scoring a dramatic late winner. Peterborough down to 9 men. It all happened this weekend.
Matt, we'll have a good one tonight. That's Late Kick-Off at 11:35.